Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talking Kop. It's Wednesday night. Liverpool kick off at 12:30 a.m. tomorrow, which is like 3 hours away, 2.5 hours away. So, we're going to look forward to Liverpool against Arsenal from I think it's Soldier Field in Philadelphia or Lincoln Field
No,
in
Soldier
Philadelphia.
Field is Chicago,
Or
isn't it?
one of the fields. All right, they're playing in
Yeah.
a field in America at half
The
12
Bull
tonight. So
McCabe is the ref.
the Bull game is the ref.
May as well be played in any golf field with the state and
Yes.
pitches of it.
Oh,
Thank you.
they're bleeding awful. Don't get me started on the pitches. But anyway, I'm joined by Shawnee, and I'm joined by our very own in-house Catherine Thomas, who just finished the tour of Spain. Am I right? Southern Spain. And
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
lucky to have him here tonight
Well,
because he flies out for a tour of Portugal tomorrow. So that is, of course, Keith,
yeah.
aka Catherine. How are you, Keith? We haven't seen you in ages. Hanging in
I'm
there.
not a well man, Gav. I'm not a well man. All this sun doesn't agree with me. I know
Yeah,
Shawnee loves a bit of sunshine,
yeah. So do
loves
I.
the El Tapas scene. I'm more of a bleeding winter bug.
Barrett Sausage
I'm
Man.
going, yeah, like I done 2 weeks in Spain, moaning like a fucking idiot, and now I'm back and I have to go to Portugal tomorrow. And you'd swear I was going to the bleeding dentist or something the way I'm carrying on about. I'm telling anyone that'll listen, fuck's sake, go to Portugal tomorrow, and they're like, and like, oh, I'm not looking forward to it at all. Like, yeah, but you're
And
going to Portugal.
and you're back Sunday night. So when we message you on Saturday saying how you getting on, you're gonna go. It's all a blur, lads. It's all a blur.
Yeah, you'd be lucky to get a response, but
Yeah.
it is what
Well,
it is.
it's more of a welfare check that we do on you
Well,
when
that's
you're away.
it. Oh yeah, that's it. It's
Look after your
needed.
mates and
It's
all.
needed. There you
Yeah.
go. Check in.
Anyway.
Keep walking around Albufeira in a Canada Goose so he doesn't get burnt.
La balaclava.
Telling everyone that'll listen, isn't it a bit bleeding hot? Isn't it? Isn't it too hot over
It's
here?
too hot. It's too
Fuck's sake,
hot.
it's too hot.
It's too hot. You know what we need? We need a real drop of temperature and a little bit of rain.
Yeah.
That's what we need
Does
here.
anywhere sell coddle? Can I get a coddle over here and a pint of Guinness? Thanks very much. I'm not shy the whole day.
Exactly. Anyway, we're going to talk some Liverpool. We're going to talk. I'll get your views. I'll get both your views on the match. Later on. We spoke to Kev and Chris and Ashley yesterday. They gave their feelings on it. But I'm going to start with Jurgen Klopp, ex-Liverpool manager now. Jurgen Klopp quotes this evening attributed to Klopp, and basically saying he's calling it a day as a coach. He hasn't made that decision overnight. He's thought about it. But the quotes coming out basically say, yeah, he's done. That's him done. I've managed the best teams in the world and he's going to go and enjoy himself. Now, I have seen some people come up and say, no. He's saying as of now, he's retired, but he may come back. Keith, what do you reckon? Like, the quotes I seen basically said he's giving her up. I think he should.
Yeah.
I think he's had a
I
fucking
don't
great
trust the
time.
man. I don't
No.
trust the man as far as I can throw him. Awful human being, this fella.
An awful human being. See,
He's an awful
2
fella.
weeks in Spain's put him in awful form.
The old sunstroke. Nah, he's an awful man.
That'll be our
Rob.
defence tomorrow morning when we're reading the comments.
Yeah. Who does he think he is calling Jurgen Klopp an awful man? Awful shy bag he is. Now, look, you take it with a pinch of salt. You know what I mean? He said he'd never sign a player over 80 million and, you know, all this nonsense. And he always go back to him and all this. Jurgen Klopp will say things in the sport of the moment and will turn back on them. What I read from it is, as of now, he's done, but he will be back. And I think he will be back eventually. I don't think he'll be back soon. He sort of poo-pooed the England job, which was nice. I can't see him taking that. I can't see him taking another gig in England. But it would not surprise me if in 6 months of a sabbatical, when he's bored off his head, he's back managing someone. Who it'll be, I don't know.
See,
Celtic.
when I when I read this, I thought fair play to him. I think he should go out, and I tweeted it. I said he should go out and have the time of his life now in retirement because he's given us the time of our lives in the time he's been Liverpool manager. But Shawnee, he can say what he wants, can't he? But there's always going to be something there where another big club decide, right, we're going to have to bite the bullet here and we're going to go all out and try to get hold of Jurgen Klopp because his track record speaks for itself. How he galvanises clubs speaks for itself. He's never going to be off the clock, really, is he?
I don't actually know. I don't. I have a feeling Klopp's probably loving life the last 3 or 4 months, the difference in the pace, out of the spotlight, just relaxing, enjoying time. That's what he did say when he initially jacked it. I'm with Keith, though. He would say mass. He lied plenty of times, but only to protect the club. I think only with the club in his best interest. He has no reason to say what he said today. Only for that's probably how he really feels. Like time's precious, and you don't get it back. It's a thief. Time is a thief, as they say. And Klopp had a particularly difficult period over COVID with the loss of his mother, wasn't it?
Yeah. And he
among other things. Yeah, and you're saying not like a manager struggle, but you're saying like a person really struggling. Then I have a feeling Klopp's probably enjoying all. Like his gaff in Spain's probably not even finished yet. He probably hasn't even got to put his feet down there yet. He looks to be enjoying himself playing paddle, going around on the bay with his mates.
He looks great, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, exactly. I think he's earned that right to turn around and say, "Yeah, I'm done," and we should all believe him, no matter what he says. To be fair, because like every single one of us would run through walls for that fella as Liverpool manager. I don't see him taking any of the big jobs around Europe. I don't think it suits him. Like Real Madrid, I don't think it suits him. No. I don't know whether anyone's seen the news coming out in Spain today about Real Madrid. Don't be fooled. They're actually worse than Man City. They're a state-owned football club. There's no doubt about it. I'll let you do yours around.
What's the news?
Yeah, well, there was this big thing that Real Madrid were going to have to pay 570 million to the Ayuntamiento of Madrid for the parking facilities around the Bernabeu, and this new fella who's extreme right is at being voted in as the mayor of Real Madrid, and he's waived that fee from 570 million to only 6 million, and this fella is in huge cahoots with Florentino Perez, and the whole stadium was built off the whole stadium improvement was built and accommodated off the back of the fact that it was going to be Real Madrid who are putting this parking system into place. And when all is said and done, the new mayor just said, "No, it's grand. Just throw 6 million there off it. Probably pay for the paint in the car park and the maintenance to go along with it." So don't be fooled. White are them white, literally, but they're the biggest shower of shy on the planet. And don't be fooled by anything else that's going on. That they're as much as culpable as the rest. They want massive control over. So I don't see Klopp going near that for a second, because I'll take you back to one thing he said, and the same reason he turned down the United job. I don't fancy managing Disneyland, and that's not what he's into. I see Klopp's next role either, if he's potential to go back into football, as the German national team manager, or some sort of senior role at Borussia Dortmund, where he's kind of running the show and overseeing everything there. He's a football man after all, but I believe when he said he probably feels like he's done. I just don't see. Look at the measure of the man. His track record is literally perfect. There's no point going somewhere else where he won't be as appreciated as he was at Liverpool, or Dortmund, and Mainz. It's a very, very, very specific set of clubs with a very, very specific set of values that is very hard to replicate. So it's one of these things when you said to yourself, Jurgen Klopp was born to manage Liverpool. Yeah, like it's the hand and the glove. You know what I mean? It's the perfect fit. So yeah, all credit to him. I just hope going forward, his name is not used to ridicule Arne Slot or Liverpool or the next regime, and Arne Slot's allowed to do his job of peace, and Jurgen Klopp's allowed to fucking rest and not have to deal with listen to that shit. Because you bet your bottom dollar, you bet your bollocks to a barn dance, he's still going to be tuned in and looking at what's going on at Liverpool, and I'm sure it annoys him more than most people sitting there, and every second question in Arne Slot's press conference so far has something got to do with Jurgen Klopp and his legacy. So yeah, hopefully the book closes on it soon enough and he just fades into the ether.
Yeah,
It's mad to think of what he can do. Sorry for cutting across you, Gav, because international football, I don't think suits him. You know, getting players every few months from different clubs and different styles and ethoses. I don't think it buys into what Jurgen Klopp wants for success. I think he'd be more likely to take like Stuttgart. Isn't that who we supported? Stuttgart. He's from there. Something like that rather than a Real Madrid. He's a weirdo in that sense. I can't see him taking any big jobs. It would be, I think, a left fielder. I think it could be something like Stuttgart that he would take.
or Celtic.
Celtic.
Yeah, Celtic.
You never walk alone and all that.
Yeah. The thing for me with it is that with the size of the announcement he made at Liverpool and the 6 or so months they got of, you know, the kind of countdown to the end of young Klopp's reign, it was a big deal, and it was a drawn out big deal, you know, the sort of way. And I'm wondering if part of him thinks, you know what, my legacy is there. Do I really need now to go back into all that stress and probably not do a good as job as I've done before? I'm not saying he can't, but not be as successful as he was before, for people to turn around and go, look, he was washed up and he came back, his ego dragged him back. You know, the sort, because you always get that shy. You know, fellas go in for the best intentions and sometimes it doesn't work, and then, you know, they get ridiculed, you know. But listen, the best of luck for him wherever he does. I'd be delighted if he just said, no, I'm done. I'm going to have the crack now for whatever amount of years. And I've earned it, and he has earned it. And as Scouser Pete says, he's been a manager for 23 to 24 years. He's wealthy beyond his wildest needs. He's earned his retirement, and good luck to him. Yeah, I think that's about bang on.
But you know what? The wealth that he has, it's financial wealth, but the absolute adoration and the love that he has, I say, is worth more. And to go to a Real, a Bayern, a Manchester United, or Manchester City, where you won't get that, certainly not to the extent that he's had it, I think that means more to him than topping up his bank balance. So, like I said, it's a really hard one to call and second guess what's going to happen.
Some of the jobs that you mentioned there are kind of like a Real Madrid or a Bayern Munich, right? If take them to for they'd be seen as he's just took the easy choice here, you know, to come back in and kind of pad his you know, the way he padding out the stats and stuff like that. I don't think he's like that. I don't think that's where he comes, where he looks at when he's going to do jobs or take jobs. And look, we'll have to wait and see. But for the moment, Jurgen Klopp's having a lovely time, and long may it continue. He absolutely deserves it. Now, the press seem to have an issue with bringing out stories that are months old, or weeks, if not months old. Well, not months, that's probably being a bit unfair on the lads. Weeks old. So last night we talked about with Haro Endo to Marseille, which was gone back 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was reported on a couple of days ago. If you remember at the start of the Euros, there was talks about Newcastle approaching Liverpool with a deal but they wanted Kwanzaa involved. That was kind of thrown on the scrap heap as well. But in the last 24 hours or so, we've seen a report now that it's actually Newcastle approached Liverpool and wanted to buy Joe Gomez for £45 million and then sell Anthony Gordon for £75 million. Of course, £45 million spread over your 5-year deal, you know, 9 million, is it? 9 million a year, but your 75 million will go straight off the books. And this is the latest story that this happened a couple of weeks ago, and it got me thinking on it. The Anthony Gordon stuff again is back. A lot of people suggesting certain things around Anthony Gordon and his want to go to Liverpool, the Liverpool want him and stuff like that. But I kind of forgot about Gordon for a minute, and I use both entitled to talk about him if you want. But Keith, the Joe Gomez angle is interesting to me because as things stand, again, I feel like Joe Gomez is a little bit of your insurance policy here as it stands with the centre-backs you currently have. Would it be a bit of a mad one to sell Joe Gomez? I know 45 million is a lot of wedge, but is it a bit of a mad one considering the centre-halves we currently have and how much he was needed at right/left back last season as kind of utility player? It seems a bit of a mad one, but money's money.
Money is money, but I think, is it a bit of a mad one? I don't know, because nobody sort of has an idea of what we want to do or who we want to bring in or who we want to keep, our vague ideas of shape and things like that, because you can't even judge on the bet this game because he didn't have players. So you don't know what way Slot is thinking. He might be looking at a player that can come in and replace Joe Gomez as a utility player. I'd use Hertruide, for example, off Feyenoord as someone that could do multiple positions at the back, or it could be someone else, and maybe he wants to bring someone in and feels that Gomez could be moved on. It's pure speculation. Would I keep him? Yeah, he's English. There's a lot to be said for that. He's a good player, Joe Gomez. I thought he had a good season last year. Covering at left back mainly. I thought he done very well. Centre back, I think he might have only got one game in a cup or something like that at centre back last season. So I don't know. It's a new manager. It's a new broom. Everything can be starting from scratch. So I'm not surprised if he moves on. Because at his age, what's he, 26, 27?
27.
If he wants to be playing, regular first-team football at a club like Newcastle, who will be challenging for European places and things like that, you might see that as a good opportunity for him. I wouldn't begrudge him if he did. The fella has given an awful lot to Liverpool. He's had tough times. Do I think Liverpool should sell him? It just depends on what they have in the pipeline, Gav. I wouldn't be selling anybody that would be first team sort of regulars, not necessarily starting 11 players, but
your first 18.
I wouldn't be selling anyone out of first 18 really, unless there's a backup plan. And I don't see where there's an in-house backup if Gomez leaves, because my own opinion on it is, I think we need to upgrade Tsimikas. I'm not getting into a Tsimikas dig and bleed match because we know what the comments have been about it. But I think we need to upgrade on Tsimikas. I think we need to, if Trent is staying at right back, I would look to bring in a centre back that can play left. That's what I would do personally. So I'd look to bring in a centre back who can cover at left back rather than bring in a pure left back. But that's just me. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what Arne Slot will do. I don't know what Richard Hughes will want to do. But if they have someone in mind and they have someone that they can bring in, they may look and say, right, Gomez, Joe, you can move on out. And if they can use it as a sweetener in the Anthony Gordon deal, all the better, because there'll be loads of fiddling and diddling going on with prices and values and that to meet PSR or whatever the fuck it's called for Newcastle's point of view. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with it.
Yeah. A couple of people in there, Shawnee, have said, Ashley says it, and two of the Kev say it, basically saying, look, is it a case of Joe Gomez, forget the Newcastle stuff for a minute, but if Joe Gomez was looking to get away, it's probably somebody at 27 wanting to play regularly in their preferred position, which is centre-back. He hasn't had that for a couple of years at Liverpool, probably since around 2021, I would have thought, where he's been a regular at centre-back. And even last season, someone said there, he plays 50 games last season. But again, mostly a left-back, right-back, the odd one in defensive midfield. In fairness, I'm with Keith. Do you sell any of your regular first 18? Maybe not. But it's a fair point at 27. If he sees another manager come in and that manager says, look, I have Van Dijk, I have Konate, I have Kwanzaa, I'm signing player X to play centre-back. I want you to be the guy that we look for right back and left back for most of it and cover at centre-half. At 27, he probably thinks, nah, that's not for me anymore. I need to play centre-back and I need to do it regularly. That's probably where, it's probably not a club decision, it's probably a player one.
Yeah, and if that is Joe Gomez's wish, then I think the club should honour it. I don't think he owes the club absolutely anything.
No.
1920s, brilliant up until the injury, and then it was stop-start until then. I believe this is probably the longest stint in the first team without an injury he's had since he signed. And here we are. It's a middle of the road conversation for me, is a middle of the road player, and I say that with the utmost respect. He's probably fourth choice centre back at Liverpool. You know, like I'd have a fit Konate, which is a big like it is. Look, let's. But a fit Konate is ahead of Joe Gomez. And I'd have Kwanzaa as number 2, so that leaves Joe Gomez as fourth choice centre back, possibly second choice right back, and third choice left back. So that in part, he's 27 years of age. He's a utility player at Liverpool. He's just had to get picked for the Euros. He probably feels with a move and playing regular, he'll be in the next England manager's thoughts for looking to go away into the World Cup in 2 years' time when he's 29 and in his prime. So for me, like 45 million, I think it would have been a great price, and if we had got it, I think everyone would have been like, yeah, that's a really good deal for both the player and the club and the boy, whoever the buying club was, because I do actually think that Joe Gomez there's a really good football there. He seemed to spend a lot of time at Liverpool either on the treatment table or trying to figure out where his best position was, barring 1920 when he was outstanding. When he was the perfect partner for Van Dijk. So yeah, I just don't think that's the Gomez that we have at the moment. He looked way better at right back and left back than he did at centre back. He had a few holocaust at centre back last year, if I remember it correctly. The game at Madrid at Anfield still sticks in my head as to one of the worst centre back performances I've seen at Liverpool for a long time. And it sounds like I'm doing a hatchet job on him, but it's fresh in my memory. And I just think for 45 million, this could be a situation where Liverpool take the pure profit as it would be, because his original contract has well run out. I think we paid 12 million for him, I think, at the beginning, didn't we? So
no, we did play
Gomez.
No, we signed Gomez in 2000.
2 or 3 million or something.
Yeah, we signed
money though.
No, we signed Gomez in
3 million, I think, or 3.5.
2000 and
yeah. So there you go. It's practically
a couple of million. Yeah,
it's practically pure profit. The only thing that worries me is outside of Gordon. It's the 1st of August tomorrow. I think we need a left back. I think we definitely need a midfielder, a number 6. We'll need another centre back.
And if Gomez goes, you need another one.
Yeah, and that you have a month. I know that it runs on, but the season starts in 3 weeks. You have basically a month up until that international break to get 4 or 5 signings done, and I don't like the sound of that. I understand this is the club's position, and they've made it aware that this is what they were going to do. Yeah, well, it's a tricky one. It makes sense to me. It makes more sense to me than Anthony Gordon signing by Liverpool anyway, which I believe is a caveat as to that's the way he was. I just hope that this wasn't the case where Gomez got a bail off his agent. I really hope it's not saying that, look, listen, you're at being offered up in a deal here with Anthony Gordon. I much prefer, because I read Bascombe's article, and I was like, that sounds a bit bad on the club's end, because it makes it sound like he's not happy with the fact that he's been made a make way in a deal for Anthony Gordon, and he's looking to probably move on. I hope it's a case where Joe Gomez did go to Arne Slot, similar to Adrian saying, look, listen, I'm not going to sign that deal. I'm going to go. I don't fancy hanging around. I'm going to go and play for Betis. I hope it's Gomez literally turning around and saying, yeah, I want to go and play. Because Gomez could go and play Champions League football around Europe. Like, Leverkusen, Alonso would probably have Matt Leverkusen. Like, you know, he's a really good player. Like, so it's one of them ones. 45 million would be hard, I think, to turn down. But who do we bring in? It's shocked me. But one thing that we are saying now is that this delay on news leaking out of the club is clearly deliberate on the club's part, because it looks like to me, like reading through the lines, that they're just making clubs know, here, Endo's for sale, and Joe Gomez is for sale there as well, if the right money were to come in. It just looks like that to me.
Would you not be?
It shows how little is.
But how nervous would it make?
How little is coming out.
How nervous would it make us if, like, my thing on Anthony, I'm not getting into Anthony Gordon's ability or the fact he falls over a lot, right? But what I'm saying is that when we looked at this summer, I think most of us, when we looked at this summer, we thought we need to replace, if with the squad we have now, if we were to place Thiago and Matip with 2 really, really good signings, right? And maybe a bit of stuff around the edges, like you mentioned there, Keith, maybe doing something on Simicast or maybe doing something up front, but only if someone leaves, we'll do something up front. You would have thought grand, but it makes me a bit nervous that, you know, we're taking out somebody from a problem position we have. I think centre-half's a problem position. We're taking someone out of that mix before we try fix the issue. Do you get me? Like, don't get me wrong, if we brought in a banger of a centre-half, right? A banger. And we said, that is fucking outstanding. That's an outstanding signing. And then someone come along and went, listen, Joe Gomez has probably slipped down the pecking order. Well, you know, 45 million, yeah, we take it. And we probably do some work with that. But doing it before we bring in a centre-back is a bit mad to me. But having said that, Liverpool are probably could be on the verge of signing a centre-half, and we don't know. But would it not make you a bit nervous, Keith, that we're treading bleeding thin ice here, I think, at the centre-half position as it is?
I don't know. I agree that the centre-half position is a problem position because we've also got Virgil on the last year of a contract that we don't know if he's going to extend. So I think that area is going to need heavy work next season. Shawnee touched on Kanate. I love Kanate. I think he's a great player. Has all the attributes that we want and need, but is injury prone, and it's always little muscly injuries that he picks up. Whereas Joe Gomez was 2 bad knee injuries, impact injuries, weren't they? Or you know, really bad. It wasn't.
Joe Gomez should really slot into the Matip situation here. So they are sitting before.
Yeah, you'd think that would be the obvious sort of answer. But as you know, what Shawnee said, there's been a lot of whispering and a lot of articles coming out. So do we think that he's being forced out, or do we think that he's being asked to leave? It's hard to say because we know Michael Edwards' reputation, and he's not the director of football at Liverpool. We know that's Richard Hughes, but he reports into Michael Edwards. And we know Michael Edwards has this thing about players, high earners, when they start getting to a certain age, move them on. And I hope they're not taking a cold approach like that with Gomez. I do agree with Sean. I hope it's sort of Joe Gomez wants to go and move on. And if that's the case, I think I'm not worried about Liverpool with no signings at the moment because I think they will make signings. I think this nonsense that they're missing out on targets is just fucking laughable. They're not going for anyone. They know who they want and they'll go for who they want when they get the opportunity. But I think they should do a centre-half this summer. And if that's at the expense of Joe Gomez, so be it. But as I said, I think it should be a centre-back that can play multi-positions. It shouldn't just be
I'd sell Gomez and buy Gahey. That's what I'd do tomorrow. That's exactly what I'd be doing.
So
if you're getting 45 for Gomez, that's a good chunk of change for a player like Joe Gomez, and you could throw that at Crystal Palace for Gahey, and you'd probably get it.
Yeah, that's what I'd do.
No, look.
Yeah, literally, you're buying a younger version of Joe Gomez with a better track record, fitness-wise, who can kick on, who has all the.
But he has had a big injury, guy. He was injured for a good stint the last season. He came back near the end of the season.
But it was an impact. That was an impact injury. He's been fit ever since. He goes and his injury record is impeccable regarding irrespective of that one beforehand. That was a bad one he got last year.
Yeah, I thought he was England's best player in the Euros as well. Like I thought he was the most consistent performer. So
I thought John Stones.
That's what I do.
Thought John Stones was brilliant. John Stones was brilliant.
That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah, no, listen, and listen. That's probably where Liverpool are.
That's what I'd be doing.
If you have a player there that's 27, wants to move on and play regular football, that's great. The thing with Gahey is, if he comes in, he's probably saying, "Well, I want to play every week. I've played at the Euros for England. I want to play in the next World Cup." And Liverpool are saying, "Well, Van Dijk plays for us, and Quanta's been outstanding, and Kanate, when fit, is probably one of the best centre backs around." It's hard to bring somebody in, and right, you can probably say to Quanta, "You were brilliant last season, but we're bringing in this guy with a bit more experience." Because I think if Kanate's fit, he probably plays beside Van Dijk, but I think Quanta should be there saying, "I want to play," because I think he's been so impressive and fit and everything else. It's just hard in that position to bring someone in where they're going to buy into a new manager or a new club and possibly be in third or fourth in the pecking order. And again, it's hard with Joe Gomez because he wants to play as well. It's a difficult one. But we'll have to wait and see.
But a good player will back himself as well, you know, and he'll think, I'll get ahead of Kwanzaa and I'll get ahead of Kanate, who's always
Yeah,
injured. And he might fancy
yeah,
that he can get in there.
yeah,
The only problem with
absolutely.
Guehi is he's a left-sided player, but fuck it, he's right-footed. Put him on the right.
Yeah, he can play on the right though. I don't think there's a problem there. But it'd be interesting to see. And there's these little whispers coming out, and like I said, they're weeks behind when they've actually happened. So if that's kind of a marker,
It's deliberate.
yeah.
It's deliberate.
But if that's a marker, Liverpool, if they're down the road looking to sign someone, they're probably way down that road. And
Well,
we
that's
are in a
it,
breeze
and we
what's
have
going
to
on.
take a bit of that. You know, it's people saying, "Oh, there's nothing happening. There's nothing happening." There's loads happening, and then they're dripping out what they want to drip out. Again, was said earlier. You know, why did the Watara window news come out? Other than for Liverpool to say, look,
Would you just quickly? Will
They
both
might.
these?
Do you know what they might do? Do you know what they might do? And just devil's advocate here. They might sell Gomez, buy another one, and keep Sepp van der Berg around
That's
well,
because
he was excellent the
he's
other day.
actually not even that. Sepp van der Berg is actually quite like Gomez in the way where he's played a couple of seasons at right back and right wing back
Yeah,
across
Preston,
the
yeah.
Championship and the Bundesliga, and he was the outstanding. And I'm saying this as singular when these people look into stats and their spreadsheets. He is the singular standout centre back in the Bundesliga last
Yeah.
year, under 25 years of age.
Highest ranked on
Yeah.
who scored or
So
something like that.
it could be one of them, and I'd imagine that. I look, Van der Berg's a mad one. He comes in. I think we thought it's going to take a lot of time for him to blood in. He just seemed to never really get a go on the Klopp. He moved on. I think he's probably unlucky in a sense that Kwanzaa kicked in.
yeah.
Kwanzaa kicked in.
I think the timing for him
ends
is
up-
terrible. I think
Yeah,
I think the
but
timing is terrible for him.
it could be, and I know people are gonna lose the bleeding rag the fact the thought of Van der Berg hanging around, but like I do genuinely think like that is for me, like that's a solution. And I'm not saying sell Gomez and don't buy a centre back. I'm saying sell Gomez, buy a competing second centre back, someone who could potentially sit in beside Kwanzaa, because Van Dijk, like Gerald Kwanzaa, Van Dijk could play for another 2 years, and by that time, Kwanzaa could be one of the standout centre backs in Europe with 3 seasons of experience under his belt, playing at the top of his game, and he could actually be the one who goes, all right, I'm going to step in now. Like Kwanzaa has the potential to be a Liverpool captain, and then you're not really like you're keeping Van der Berg, and then Van der Berg is literally taking Gomez's role, and then you're buying someone to come in and do the.
Yeah,
Now, whether Van der Berg will be happy with that is another thing, but
that's the
you
thing.
need to remember
I think he's tasted regular
there's
football.
loads of football.
I think he's tasted regular football, and I think on top of that, I think Liverpool see it's probably where the height of his value is at the moment, unless they were sending him out on loan again, which they won't because he'll only have a year left on his deal. And they've probably seen this is the height of it now. We can probably get 15 million, and let's do that. It'll be interesting though. It'll be interesting. We could be here at the start of the season, and Joe Gomez is still here, and we've signed a centre back, and Joe Gomez is utility, and Joe Gomez is all right with that. Just it made me think about it today when these stories came out, and I thought, yeah, but he probably wants to go and play regular somewhere, or he probably wants to tell Arne Slot, I want to be the centre half of Liverpool, and he's well in his rights to, so he might stay and fight for that. Just quickly, would you both keep Watara window, Keith?
I'd keep him because I don't think we're going to sign a ball-winning midfielder, but only as an option, to throw on to shore things up. I know everybody lost their shit about his game during the night. It didn't look like he'd shore anything up. But what we've seen and what we've sort of been seeing in training drills and all that is the emphasis is going to be on keeping the ball and playing the ball for the midfield. Curtis Jones has said it, it's different to the way Klopp played, where your midfield are just sort of the organ grinders, you know what I mean? In there, they were lifting the piano and all this, or the water carriers, whatever the saying is. Whereas I think now there's going to be a lot of emphasis on ball playing. So I think it might change. I've seen somebody losing their shit there because PSG, sorry, are signing Shawnee's boy, Portuguese fella, Ruben,
Mad for
João Neves.
João Neves, 60 million euro.
Yeah,
Mad.
but people are going mad and saying, "Oh, we should be getting Ugarte." I like Ugarte, not for this team, but because Ugarte's stats on ball winning at top of the bleeding table, his stats for passing are bleeding United Churches League level. The fella cannot use the ball, so I don't think that he will be good enough for what we want. So it's a very tricky position. Who could you bring in there? Because I think, we could upgrade on Endo certainly. If we think it's going to be playing with two central midfielders with one in front, I know there's this argument about what formation that he's going to be playing and things like that. But if we take it that he's going to play two and one in front of them, then you'd say McAllister will be one of them, and who could be the other one? I don't think it's going to be a Ugarte type that's just a destroyer. I think it's going to be somebody that can do a bit of donkey work at the back, but can play the ball. So we had for that Feyenoord. I think that's the type of player we'd end up going for. Who it'll be, I don't know, but I would keep Endo because unless you get good money, there's very little value in getting rid of him. Do you know what I mean? I'd keep him as that sort of throw him on for 10 minutes if you just need to break things up or shore up a game that's closer.
We need a Bruno Guimaraes or something, don't we?
But Joe Gomez,
like that to play
Kev
in there.
says Joe
Somebody that
Gomez
gets the ball and can move the ball, but can put a tackle in.
Joe Gomez is excellent.
Off
he's
Wolves.
A good player.
A lot of people are saying take the gamble on Wharton from Crystal Palace.
Big dog. That's the problem with Wharton.
Wharton is going to command a huge fee.
He would be ideal, but I think he'd be an ideal.
My thing on it is that Endo.
Get rid of Endo.
Well, you. What
was the money?
What was the money? £11.5 million or something. But my thing on it is that I don't think there's another player in the squad that has the defensive tendencies of Endo, right? And I think there's an argument to say you could get rid of Endo and bring someone of that level that'd be a squad player.
The ability to take the ball on the turn and play the ball.
But this is why I think this is why I think
already.
Yeah, but this is why I think this is
far outweigh Endo's ability at snuffing out fires in this Liverpool team because
absolutely.
Is made for it.
It's not going to be as helter-skelter. You're not going to need a fella winning every single duel in the midfield. The ball retention is going to be naturally so much higher. We won't be as susceptible to counter-attacks. You do need a fella. You do need a fella who can look after the house. But you need Endo's defensive brilliance, which he is really, really good at. You see, again, numbers would suggest won't make up for the fact that the fella can't turn and pass the ball. He hasn't got it in him. He's too slow on the ball. He doesn't move the ball quick enough. You could see in game where he's trying his hardest to look like he's moving the ball quicker, but he just hasn't got the ability. It's just not his game. I think Endo will struggle. Big style.
I think his limitations were shown. Do you know what I mean? I think.
Yeah, and a Selhurst as well last year. I think he gets hooked at half time when they come on top. So
I think
I'd definitely be getting rid of him.
I think his limitations were shown the other night. But my only worry is if you do get rid of him, right? Now I was trying to make the point last night that it's not like he's Jurgen Klopp is still there and you're bringing someone in and going, oh, but listen, Endo's there a year, he knows the ins and outs of it. If you were to sell Endo and bring someone in for 15 million quid that was like him but a bit better on the ball and was a squad member, he'd fit in, it'd be fine because Endo's only learning 4 weeks off Arne Slot. You know what I mean? You're 4 weeks behind, you're not a year behind in the process. But I actually think we're talking about centre backs and it's a problem issue or whatever. What he does here if he signs a midfielder could actually be the making of Arne Slot at Liverpool. And I don't think I'm downplaying it by saying that. It has to be someone that he feels can become absolutely elite at what they're doing. It could be a bit of a project, a bit of a younger player, bring him in, help him out for a little while, but do you think he's going to be absolute elite? Because I watched that game the other night, and honestly, You need to be able to take the ball in any fucking situation with 2 or 3 players around you, be able to pop passes off first time, and if not, it has to be 2 touches really quick. You have to know your angles. You have to have really good movement, and it's a really special part of the team that I think Arne Slot is going to make this instead of what, like Keith said about Klopp, functional midfield. I think he's really focusing in on whoever's in this midfield is going to really orchestrate everything we do. So I think the signing has to be so fucking good. I'm not looking for a range of passing like Javi Alonso. I'm looking for somebody that comes in and go, he never loses the fucking ball. And what I mean by that is, I'm not giving away with a pass. He never loses it with facing his own goal.
We need someone like a Billy Gilmore. Like I'm not exactly him, but a player like him who just knits things together.
Things
like Billy Gilmore is an unbelievable footballer. He's a really good footballer, but he's that little pain in the ass that gets in and nicked in. The thing, like a 20. Look, imagine even the Thiago we originally got from Bayern in this team. It's exactly the start. Exactly. That's why I can't believe that we haven't gone back in for Andre, because that's exactly what he does for Fluminense. That's exactly what a pit bull who gets around, who just nips the ball around the place. He was excellent on the turn. That's why I don't understand. This is why we kind of just have to trust this whole thing that way. If they're leaving it to August, you have to have players earmarked. I have no idea. I'm not going to sit here and rattle off sixes. I thought Joe Neves was. I told you I would have went all in on him. He's at the camp for €60 million. I'd love to know what George Mendes is getting, and this is what people need to think about. I'd love to know what George Mendes is getting and the amount of money he's getting. It's like the whole Euro thing again. Yeah. Liverpool probably fancied Euro at 30 odd million on 80 grand a week, not at 60 or 52 million and 150 grand a week. Yeah. We need someone in there who's just gonna look after the ball and little nicks and wins.
Will this guy Ederson from Atalanta's name pop up then?
I don't even know whether he's the type that we need now, because
I thought he was just in that Europa League final against us. He was, but I think he was a ball winner, but he protected it really well. Particularly in the final, I thought he protected the ball really well and just made them like Sean.
Look, he hasn't gone anywhere. Like the thing, this is right. I'm gonna say something here, and it's to try make the mad.
Send Keith off the park with a smile on his face. The miserable bastard.
I'm gonna say this here, and it's something that's gonna make. I want to make the wet the beds all feel a little bit more comfortable, right? I have in my head 3 players I think Liverpool are definitely looking at, right? And when I look at them, I see that they've not gone anywhere, and there hasn't been talk of them going anywhere else, right? The first one is Ryan Atnori, right? I see that deal happening down the line. Wolves are in a bit of trouble as well regarding PSR, and I have a feeling Richard Hughes knows that. They call Richard Hughes the contact book. That's his name in the footballing world. Everyone probably listens to that podcast where we talk about it. Ederson is another one. Hasn't gone anywhere. Hasn't been talked from going anywhere. Just, I don't see what the story is. I don't know what Atlanta are doing in terms of spending. I know they've made Yaman De Ketelaere permanent, which was an expensive enough deal for them.
They signed Yaman off everything.
And then I look at Kudus at West Ham.
Now you're fucking talking.
What's going under the radar is
West Ham are spending a fortune.
West Ham are blowing a bag, and I was reading just there that they hope to close out deals for Crescencio Somerville and Nicholas Fulkrug next week, and possibly Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So you're talking to go to another 80 million there, and they've already spent 70 million. They've bought Kilman, they've bought the lad Guillermo from Palmeiras for 20 odd million. They spent a lot of money, and I have a feeling that maybe this is just a case of Liverpool. Kudus has a release clause, as far as I'm aware. I think it's 80 million.
Yeah.
So 80 million euros possibly. I just have a feeling that West Ham have gone, come here, do us a favour. Let us get the few bodies in before we move this fella on, because we don't want to get rowed with everyone knowing we have a lot of cash. They spent loads of money as well last year when Royce left, so it's not the case where they're spending the Declan Rice money. I just feel Kudus is a player now that you bring in can play right wing, the 10, left wing, and one at that like a false 9 type of striker that Slot played already. It just makes way too much sense to me. Signing Anthony Gordon makes no sense to me because there's Gakpo there, there's Nunes who can play out left, and then there's Luis Diaz who's still at the club when I think mostly everybody thought he was going to go. So it just, that's the way I'm looking at it. And until I'm looking at those three and I'm thinking they haven't been linked with anyone else. They're three really good players, and I just have a feeling of Liverpool. This is me being the ultimate optimist now. To tell you the truth, I just feel like that. They're just there. The ducks. We'll use the expression. The ducks are in a row, and Liverpool. It's just a matter of time and where Liverpool are going to go. Kudus, bang, we'll have him. There we go, Edison, bang, we'll have you. And at Nori, you're going to come in. Tsimikas, you're out. At Nori spends a year rotating with Robertson to eventually replace him because I think left back as well is a problem area for Liverpool that's not really spoken about, to be honest with you. So that's how I feel.
Shawnee's basically promising
that's how it's going to play out.
Shawnee's made a huge promise here to everyone listening. We're signing out Nori, Ederson and Kudus. So email him if they don't happen, right? I'm only messing. He hasn't promised anything. Keith, before we go,
before we move off that, I do agree with that logic that players were linked with aren't going anywhere, but I think it's Gordon over Kudus myself personally.
I think you're mad.
I think what Shawnee is saying is right. People jumped on the Lenny Euro thing. Oh, we got pipped. We didn't bid for him because of the money went out of control or whatever. But there's very few players we've actually been strongly linked with over the summer. And they are the likes of your Eight Norries and your Kudus, your Gordons, your Ederson. And they've been the strongest links and nothing's happening. And I do think there's an awful lot in that why is no one else looking at them? Why is no one else going to get them?
This name keeps coming up in Wharton from Crystal Palace, right? I think he's done one season at Crystal Palace. I think he might have played 20 games.
Half a season. He only comes in January, doesn't he?
And everyone, like Kevin Ball, and I chat to him a bit in the Telegram group, and he just adores this fella. Like, is he a bit of a wild card that Liverpool look and go, young, left-footed, put him in there with McAllister, two really good footballers to protect the ball, solid, whatever defensive look they have off them or defensive tendencies they have off them, we'll work on it to make it the best. Like, then he just keeps popping up this name. So, my thing, if you're going on that logic that no one else is being linked with him, if he's that fucking good, why isn't there 3, 4, 5, 6 teams in England and around Europe going, we're going to get this fella before he's another great season and he costs an extra 30 or 40 million? Is this just a flavour of the month name? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I've seen the fella want play once, twice, maybe.
Absolutely,
but is he that good?
I think he's the ideal profile of player that we want for the midfield. Shawnee mentioned Bruno Guimaraes earlier on, and I think it has to be a player that can win the ball but can pass the ball, can progress the ball, and he's a very good player at doing that. The problem we have with Adam Morton is it's going to be big money for the player. Is he the player for the money that we need? I think he could be. I think a left-footed player like him could be the answer. But there's other players out there. I don't know the money that's being mentioned for Adam Warren. I cannot imagine it's anywhere less than 60 million. And maybe I'm even being ambitious with that. That's what I'm saying. I think it could be even north of that. Yeah, it could be even north of that. You know what I mean? So that's where I think Liverpool will identify players, but they'll have a value on them. We know this. They've said it all along. And if they feel a player's not within that value range or they're being priced out, they won't go for them. I think he is the ideal type of player, but there's other players out there that can do that. Who they are, I don't know. Like a player that's being mentioned that I don't know if Sean you'll know more about this is Zubamendi. What his future is.
Apparently he wants to stay in Spain.
A lot of them want to stay there, and it's hard to get them out. But I think he's off that profile as well. He can win the ball, he passes the ball, he's not a destroyer, he's good with the ball. And I think that's what I think we have in Stefan Bajcetic. I think we've the ideal profile of midfielder in there. But whether he's ready yet or not after the season now injured, I don't know. But he's got the height, the physicality, the passing, able to nick the ball, able to break up attacks. He could be an answer. The problem, not the problem, but the exciting thing, if you want to look at it that way, is we don't know what Slot wants. Slot could want younger players in there to do that, and it could be, well, not going to Shawnee was looking to bleed and spray people's walls there with Manju, so I'm going to explode heads. It could be Tyler Morton, could be the ideal player that Arne Slot wants. And that's, not what anybody wants to hear.
No.
Genuinely.
You know what Keith's doing now? Keith's just lighting the black cat and throwing it in.
No, genuinely. That could be the one. Tyler Morton.
Asking his missus to get them repeaters out of the press.
Tyler Morton could be the one that goes on the tour and can keep the ball past the ball, keep the ball past the ball, keep the ball past the ball, nick the ball.
Do you know what's telling to me? Do you know what's telling to me? Jones goes off the other day after 20 minutes and he puts a 16-year-old ahead of all of them.
Yeah.
Neoni. So, like, do you know what I mean? I know. I'm just saying. And I'll tell you one thing. Martin is enough value where it'd be probably clever to let him go. Kevin Ball's a great shout there. I think I'm not gonna lie. Although Everton would rather go bust and sell as a player. Onana would have been perfect.
See, I don't think he's good enough at the ball. That's the thing.
He is.
A super chat from Brace DeVille says, I will be made up with kudos, but we have to address the defence first. Also, looked like we dodged one with Euro out for up to 2 months. Euro gets done because of the pitch in America. He gets done because of the pitch. Simple as that. He's out for. He's in a protective boot. You're probably looking at 6 weeks. And look, I know he plays for Manchester United, but it's not nice to see if someone going over there and starting a career with somebody and then genuinely the pitch fucking lets him down. But look, 6 weeks is fuck all in a 5-year contract, and it'll probably do him no harm out of the limelight for 6 to 8 weeks, and then he can
I think it's the worst possible thing that could happen to him because he won't be afforded time. And
I know, but the thing is, he wouldn't have been afforded time anyway from the first day of the season away at Fulham. What I'm saying is that, you know what, he gets 6 to 8 weeks now to bet himself in at Manchester United without everyone going, he's fucking literally Franco Baresi because he hit a crossfield pass last week. Like, it's scandalous, the fucking stuff that's coming out about him, and I might give him a bit of time there. Anyway, I've enjoyed that. I'm going, right? Liverpool against Arsenal later. I don't expect Liverpool to win. Arsenal literally have everyone fucking back. Bar, I think it's Rice, Saka, one of the goalkeepers, two of the goalkeepers, and Saliba. They've fucking so many players back. I couldn't believe it when I seen it the other night. But Liverpool look like they've Jota could play some part. Canate's back with the team, but maybe a bit too early for him to come and play. But listen, minutes in the legs, some fitness, no injuries, and everyone will be happy when we move on to play United. Someone asked there, will you do a watch along for the United game Sunday into Monday? Most definitely not. I'm in work. I've work to do from 6 o'clock on Monday morning, and I'm not fucking staying up doing a watch along till 3 o'clock. I just not. A broken metatarsal, according to Ashley L.
Remember them? I haven't heard of that in years.
Remember the metatarsal were deadly, weren't they?
Famous, didn't they?
They were deadly. Kevin Boss will see you at 12:30. You won't see me at 12:30. I'm so fucking tired, lads. I'm so fucking tired. So I'm just going to try watch the match. I'll probably fall asleep watching it, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. We should be back with another show tomorrow. We might do a bit of reaction to Arsenal and Liverpool, and you never know, 4 more stories from 4 weeks ago might rear their head tomorrow, so we can talk about them. Thanks a million to Keith. Best of luck in Portugal, Keith. We wish you all the best.
Yes,
I'll send you a welfare check. We'll do a welfare check maybe Saturday afternoon. Thanks a million to Shawnee as always. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat. Like, subscribe, comment, become a member, do all that sort of stuff. And we'll talk to you soon. Over now.